Alrighty, let's see what we got here. Hey, Switch 4K. All right, we're finally getting. Oh wait, hang on. There's a smudge on my screen real quick. Stream Deck, didn't that come out like months ago? No, years ago. I mean, what's going? Wait, hang on. One more smudge on here. Oh, Steam Deck. Okay, all right. Yeah, okay, I can work with this. What's going on, everyone? Tallen here with 59 Gaming Direct, and today we're just going over a little bit of news and everything like that. Some stuff kind of been known about already, some stuff kind of more confirmed, and kind of some updates as well when it comes to certain news and everything like that. So let's go and start off with some actual really cool news that I personally like myself. Even though I personally won't be picking up a Steam Deck, I actually really like this little feature that they're adding into this thing because I think this is just great. It's great for anyone who has ever played PC games, and it's like, can this actually run properly? Is this going to work well, right? Like you can easily say some of the best things about console gaming is that when you buy a game for a console, despite some of the wacky bugs and stuff you can get in some games, it will work regardless. You buy a Switch game, it will work on the Switch. You buy a PlayStation 4 game or PlayStation 5, it will work on said console, right? But PC, you know, there's tons of different ways PCs can be built, whether it's custom, pre-built, you name it. There's always different parts and everything like that. And so this is a really cool system that they're introducing right here. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, we're basically going to be taking a look at the entire way that the Steam Deck is going to be categorizing its games into 4 different categories, which is of course going to be verified, playable, unsupported, and unknown. Unknown's probably definitely be one more of those older games or things that have just not really been updated in quite a long time. So do keep that in mind if you're looking for something to play where it's a much older game, but it's, you know, obviously just unfortunately unknown at the time. So obviously this will be updated as things go forward. So just, you know, keep that in mind when it comes to this kind of stuff. But as it states right here, though, games that check these 4 boxes are deck verified. So input, seamlessness, display, and system support, which is also, again, it's a really awesome feature to say like, hey, if you see this little check here, again, like we stated up here before, aka using Ghost Runner as the example here, it's verified, it's gonna work regardless, and you're gonna have a fun time. Of course, this is all assuming that everything on the Steam Deck is going to go the way that they want it to. But regardless, that's a really cool feature to see. Scrolling down here, we actually get to see what the Steam store looks like on the deck, which is pretty cool. I mean, again, it's kind of what you'd expect from what we already know to see on Steam and everything, but it's obviously condensed, right? It's on a smaller screen, it's on a portable screen and everything like that. So it's really cool to see what they're changing in here and how it's going to look and everything like that. So you can kind of get an idea of what they are showing. So again, using the system that we saw up above, though, we see that we have verifies, we have unknowns, we have, you know, support, you know, that kind of thing, right? Which is really, really cool. So definitely something to look forward to if you, again, are someone who's going to be going for this and everything like that. They even show us a little bit more of the compatibility details here. For example, using Team Fortress 2, Ghost Runner, things like that. So again, Team Fortress 2 has some of the checks, like SteamOS can run this game, this product's default graphics configuration and all that kind of stuff. But there are a couple of things that are not necessarily working at this moment in time. So it's not quote unquote verified. So again, it's just more something to keep an eye out for. It's not necessarily that the device cannot run these particular games. It's just a saying like, look, you may not have the smoothest experience as of right now. So just keep that in mind, basically, right? So anyway, regardless, though, I obviously think this is a really cool thing that they're adding in here. Again, another way to kind of show what it looks like for the Steam Deck in terms of your library, which is really cool. Hades, you know, Death Stranding, showing all that stuff right there, which is really cool. So obviously, I'm, you know, super excited to see what this thing can do. You know what I honestly really hope this console does when it comes to, or I guess portable PC, if you want to look at it that way as well. I really hope this gives something like the Switch a run for its money. And I know this is a very long shot, and I'm not saying it's going to happen within like the first week or something that this comes out or anything like that. But I hope down the line, this pushes Nintendo to start taking its hardware a little bit more seriously when it comes to its platforms. Yes, I know the typical arguments of it's Nintendo. They don't care about graphics. They don't care about this stuff. It's all about the game, the gameplay, and, you know, they have their, you know, core audience and everything, regardless of what the others do and everything. And I get that. I totally get that. Again, not saying that this is going to change anything. But I think personally it'd be really cool if this kind of nudged Nintendo a little bit, like, hey guys, maybe start doing a little bit more on the hardware side, because they have the foundation already there with the Switch and everything. Maybe this is something that can kind of push it to actually give us that 4K Switch, because let's be honest, as cool as the OLED screen is, yeah, if you already have a Switch, you didn't really need to pick one up. So, but regardless though, really cool update here that we got to see for the Steam Deck. Can't wait to see what is going to evolve as things get closer to its release. Going into our next piece of news real quick, we're going to be kind of going over some confirmations when it comes to FIFA and EA. If you haven't heard what's been going on recently, FIFA and EA have been in kind of button heads recently when it comes to the franchise in terms of video games, at least. FIFA wanting a lot more money from EA, and EA saying they want to do all this like rebranding and everything, which FIFA is scared that it's basically going to hurt them and everything like that. So essentially, this is basically confirming that FIFA's like, yeah, EA, sayonara, bye-bye, adios, essentially, right? In a little statement down here, they basically said that FIFA is set to widen the gaming and esports portfolio, and is essentially just saying like, yeah, no, EA, you're not going to be able to do all that stuff. So it will definitely be interesting to see how this is going forward, because we do obviously have the World Cups coming up like we do every couple of years. And if this means that, will we finally see an actual proper updated type of soccer game, which would be really nice. Because I'm not going to lie, you can make the argument for almost any, continuation of a series and everything, saying it's just the same game, but with improved insert graphics, gameplay mechanics, yada, yada. But the sports games are notorious for this, right? Like, people can say anything about, like Halo 2 to Halo 3, or Battlefield to the next Battlefield, or Call of Duty to the next Call of Duty, right? And for the most part, you are right for some of those things. But sports game especially, they just, man, the moment people see any like tweets or news articles or anything about it, they immediately just go, oh, you guys are literally playing the same game from 2006, basically, right? So it'll be interesting to see after FIFA starts to really widen this game in an esports portfolio, as stated here in this article. Will things actually change? Are games going to look better? Are they going to play different? I mean, not like the soccer part of itself, but just the, particular mechanics that they have in different games and everything like that. Without being under EA, are they going to have any of those loot boxes and all those gambling mechanics and everything? It'll be interesting to see what happens there. So this is definitely the start of something big that's gonna, you're gonna want to watch, especially if you're a sports player. In terms of video games, you're gonna want to watch this over the next year and everything. So definitely keep an eye on this one. It's fun. It's really funny that FIFA. I like the title of this. When I read this, I mean, I know it's kind of like, quote unquote clickbait or anything like that, but I just love how it says FIFA says it never really liked EA. No, you didn't like EA, you just liked all the money they printed, basically, right? So yeah, well, again, we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen there, but this is definitely interesting news when it comes to your sports games. And finally, to wrap it up for our last little bit of information here, it's kind of a side story that we've kind of found here at 5-9 Direct that we thought was pretty cool. Kind of interesting, at least I think to some people, but basically for the Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy game, which is coming out next week, which, by the way, make sure you sub to 5-9 Gaming Direct if you want to catch our review on that, because we are definitely going to be reviewing that game. A lot of people are definitely excited for it. It's just interesting to see if it takes the route of the old Avengers game that came out a couple years ago, or if this is going to have a lot more success, I would say. But regardless, as the tweet reads right here, hey everyone, we wanted to give you an update on the file size of the PC version of the game, which will not be 150 gigabytes. The team is in the last stage of optimizing the final game, and we will confirm the file size will be approximately 80 gigabytes at launch. And then actually, funny enough, down here, someone asked about the PlayStation 4, and they said, we recommend having around 50 gigabytes of available storage for the PS4/PS5 versions of the game. So that's really cool, especially if you're someone who's limited on space and everything, especially on console, that this game will not be 150 gigabytes. But let's be perfectly honest here. In today's modern games, seeing a game go for 150 gigabytes, at least on PC side of things, not necessarily that big. It really isn't. I mean, hard drives these days are really not that expensive, and it's one of the few components of a PC you can still reasonably buy without seeing these huge scalped up prices and everything like that. Consoles are a little more understandable. I get it. Those definitely come in limited sizes, unless you're lucky enough to have a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X, where you can actually have extended hard drives and everything like that, or replace them if you need to. So this is definitely obviously really good confirmation for those who are limited on the file size, but just wait. 10 years from now, I can already see it. Basically, it's going to say, don't worry, guys, it's not going to be 400 gigabytes of space. It's only going to be 200 gigabytes of space for this game. So you just mark my words, it's going to happen. So anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this little news update kind of video here with 5-9 Gaming Direct. Let us know your thoughts down below in the comments. What are you most excited about when it comes to either the Steam Deck, or if you happen to be one of the many sports players out there when it comes to video games? Let us know your thoughts here on the FIFA news, or if you're excited about Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, let us know your thoughts down below in the comments. Are you going to be playing the game? And again, make sure you sub to 5-9 Gaming Direct here and catch our review when we get it out as soon as possible. So anyway, guys, again, I've been Tallen with 5-9 Gaming Direct. Thanks you all for stopping by as always. Make sure you smash that like button if you happen to enjoy the video, and the sub button as well. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Johnny.